The stock to watch for 2025 is going to be Nvidia, an exceptional company. I underestimated them. I owned Nvidia a long time ago. Really appreciated their accelerated computing, their GPUs, and Nvidia started with creating GPUs to accelerate graphics for gamers. So when games continue to get more and more advanced and they needed to be, the computers couldn't keep up with the graphic load, Nvidia came out with their accelerator and boom, gamers were happy. And then that technology was used in a couple places. One of them for Bitcoin mining. So you see the Bitcoin miners using GPUs for that reason. And more recently, the use case has been to build AI. And you have these large language models. And to kind of summarize, a large language model is this massive data set. And you're trying to teach a application, a software. You're kind of, if you think about a human being, right? They're born and they don't know much. It's a little baby. And then over 50 years, they learn a tremendous amount, including all their, upbringing from their parents, relatives, friends, teachers, all through their, elementary years and then college, potentially career and all that. But what you're trying to do is teach a computer all these different permutations and experiences to kind of resemble the human, intelligence, artificial intelligence. And you're trying to accelerate that. And so it becomes a very, very expensive and big workload. And Nvidia handles it exceptionally well, better than anybody else. And that's why their demand on their GPUs went through the roof. When it was expected that many companies are going to build large language models and operate AI businesses. And I underestimated it because I do think that AI is super interesting, but I just don't see it kind of taking over. When we look at like Gemini as an example, I use it, but to me, it's kind of a leap forward from search. It's not like, man, I do everything on Gemini or do everything on Meta AI or everything on ChatGPT. No, I actually hit the wall with those because I often ask for a specific and it's wrong, or I ask for specific information and can't do it. So I'm like, okay, well, I don't know if it's 20% of the time, 30% of the time, AI truly has a meaningful benefit to me. But that's why I was underestimating it. But now the market's kind of faded for Nvidia. We could see that from middle of the year to now it's flat. Okay, so we're talking about a really expensive company, $3.3 trillion of market cap. The company has gone up in 5 years, 2,180%. So we're talking about an expensive market. And Nvidia is going to be, all eyes are on Nvidia. Now, you're going to get they announced their earnings on February 20th. But you're going to get a preview of what to expect with Nvidia as the big consumers of Nvidia GPUs report. And those are Microsoft, Amazon through AWS, Google through the Google Cloud. Those are the three big ones. And there's others too. And if any of those come out and say, hey, we're pulling back on capital expense related to AI because we have enough, or we're just not seeing the demand, that's going to be a tell of what's to come with Nvidia. Now, when we look at Nvidia, the growth has just been incredible, right? They, as recent as fiscal year 2023, which ended January 29th of 23. This is right after the year that we had a correction on 2022. They weren't growing, right? This is a cyclical business. See how we have negative? So we have positive, positive, negative. And I don't know if I have any more years to go back on. Yeah, we have some more years. So we have slow growth, high growth, slower, high growth, slower. So you have these, years of a lot of people buying those GPUs and then they fade. Now, AI is a different animal. I would agree that the build out for AI is extreme. I would agree with that. But I don't think the semiconductor industry is going to stop being a cyclical industry. And I think of it logically, which is when you buy a GPU, it's not a consumable. It's not like, hey, I bought this GPU, I used it and I threw it away. No, you buy it, you use it for 5 years, you might use it for 10 years. If the technology advances fast enough, you may decide to upgrade, but it's not because the component wore out. It's because there's a better technology that's going to serve you better. And case in point was my son decided to mine Bitcoin in 2016, and we bought Nvidia GPUs, 2 of them, and he put them on a mining rig and he used them for about a year, and then we sold them. Resold them. So he used them for a year and then resold them. We got more money than we originally paid, which was interesting. That's my point, is these things last. So as you see enough supply in the market, Nvidia themselves see a decrease in demand, and we'll see if that comes back. The one thing that I do study is that the law of big numbers, right? When you look at their growth, it's incredible, 152%, and they're comparing the trailing 12 months against the the previous trailing 12 months. Now, for the full years, you see that when you went from 26 or 27 billion in revenue, which were at a very slow growth, almost zero, yeah, you're going to see 125% growth. But now you're going to be comparing against some big numbers. So let's if their year is going to end, so it's January 28th, 2025, and we have to add up these quarters, right? So it's going to be 26, 56, 61, 91. It's probably going to be about 120. So they're going to double, but then after that, they're going to guide and say, at what growth rate are we going to be? And that's what's going to make or break the Nvidia stock. And they may guide very favorably because, frankly, why wouldn't, the CEO or any employee say, hey, I love my company and we're going to kick butt and take names. We're going to kill it. We're going to keep killing it. So I could totally see that, but the data is going to tell us the true story. And this is going to be the big event. This shows November 20th, but you forward 3 months and it's expected they're going to announce around February 20th. And that's going to be a huge earnings announcement. And then after that, 3 months later, which would be April 20th, a huge announcement. And the reason for it is this stock is so expensive, right? You see the stock that's built up this way. You see that, hey, I showed that from this point to now, it's pretty much even. So the stock is not moving up. And you see that for the 1 year, it's up 174. Well, there's a lot of stocks that have already, for the 1 year, have surpassed 170, I guess 175 at this point. And so this stock is going to be super interesting to follow. I will be following it and see how things play out.